June 24th, 1314. England suffered its most humiliating military defeat of the medieval period. Thousands of their finest knights routed by a smaller Scottish force, so catastrophic that it changed the course of British history forever. So why don't English schools teach it? Today, we're digging into Bannockburn, where Scottish legend meets English silence. And the truth, it's better than either side wants to admit. If you're Scottish, you know the story. Robert the Bruce, heroic underdog king, facing impossible odds, outnumbered 10-1 by the mighty English army. Against all logic, Scotland wins. Independence secured. Roll credits. If you're English, you might not have heard of this battle at all. It's barely mentioned in the curriculum. Just a minor setback in the grand sweep of English history, right? Here's the problem. Both narratives are incomplete. The Scottish version oversimplifies a complex military and political situation. The English version conveniently forgets one of their worst strategic disasters. So what actually happened? Let's melt down the myths and forge the facts. First, those troop numbers. Scottish legend loves the David versus Goliath angle. 1 Scot for every 10 Englishmen. Dramatic, but not accurate. Actual numbers, 6,000 to 9,000 Scots versus 15,000 to 20,000 English. Still outnumbered? Yes. 2-1, maybe 3-1, but not the impossible odds you've heard about. Now here's where it gets interesting. Robert the Bruce didn't win through luck or divine intervention. He won through tactical genius. His secret weapon? The Shiltron, a defensive pike square that turned Scottish infantry into mobile fortresses. English cavalry charges? Useless. Those 12-foot pikes created an impenetrable wall. Horses won't charge into a hedge of spears. It's basic animal psychology. But Bruce had another advantage the legends don't emphasise enough. Terrain. The English army was forced onto marshy ground near the Bannockburn stream. Heavy cavalry in a swamp, armoured knights sinking into mud. It's like bringing a Ferrari to a bog. Impressive on paper, catastrophic in practice. The battle lasted 2 days, June 23rd and 24th. Day 1, English vanguard defeated in skirmishes. Day 2, Bruce committed his full force, driving the English into the marshland. Chaos, panic, rout. This wasn't a miracle, it was tactical mastery. But here's what the legends conveniently skip over. Robert the Bruce wasn't the universally beloved hero you've been told about. In fact, many Scots hated him, and for good reason. February 10th, 1306. Robert the Bruce walks into Greyfriars Church in Dumfries and murders John Comyn, his rival for the Scottish throne. Stabs him in front of the altar. The Pope excommunicates him. Scottish nobles from the Comyn and Balliol factions refuse to support him. Some actively fight for England against Bruce. This isn't a united Scotland rallying behind a heroic king. It's a civil war. Bruce spent years fighting other Scots before he could even think about challenging England. Bannockburn wasn't just about independence. It was about legitimising Bruce's contested claim to the throne. Now let's talk about his opponent, Edward II. Edward II was not his father. Edward I, Hammer of the Scots, was a military genius who crushed Scottish resistance for years. Edward II, politically weak, militarily inexperienced, facing opposition from his own nobles. Bannockburn wasn't just a Scottish victory. It was an English political disaster that exposed Edward II's incompetence. That's why English historians downplay it. It's embarrassing. The wars of Scottish independence didn't start in 1314. They started in 1296 and wouldn't truly end until 1357. Bannockburn was one battle in a 61-year conflict. Now you might be thinking, if Bannockburn was so decisive, why did the war continue for another 14 years? Great question, because Bannockburn didn't secure Scottish independence. What it secured was Robert the Bruce's kingship. After Bannockburn, no Scottish noble could credibly challenge his claim. He'd proven himself militarily and politically. But England, they didn't recognise Scottish independence. Edward II refused to negotiate. The war continued. Raids, sieges, diplomatic standoffs. Scottish forces raided northern England repeatedly. English forces launched counter-invasions, back and forth for over a decade. It wasn't until March 17th, 1328, 14 years after Bannockburn, that the Treaty of Edinburgh-Northampton was signed. That's when England finally officially recognised Scottish independence. And even then, it was because Edward II had been deposed and murdered, and his son Edward III needed political stability. Bannockburn created the conditions for independence, but it took 14 more years of warfare and diplomacy to actually achieve it. So, fact with crucial context. Bannockburn was a pivotal moment in Scottish history, but not the way the legend tells it. The evidence? Tactical masterpiece, not miraculous underdog story. Bruce exploited terrain, used innovative pike formations, and outmanoeuvred a larger but poorly commanded English force secured Bruce's throne, not immediate independence. English downplay it because it revealed Edward II's incompetence. This wasn't just a military defeat, it was a political humiliation that exposed the weakness of English leadership. The real story is better than the myth. Bannockburn wasn't about destiny or divine favour. It was about a contested king who turned tactical brilliance and political ruthlessness into legitimacy. A battle that didn't end a war, but changed who was winning it. Scotland didn't win independence on June the 24th, 1314, but Robert the Bruce won the right to fight for it. But here's a question the legends never answer. Who actually fought at Bannockburn? Which clan stood with Bruce? Which fought against him? The answer might surprise you, because the clans you think were there probably weren't. That's next time on Fact or Fiction Foundry. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it.